What's up guys? So today I'm going to talk about an app called Anki. If you don't know what it is, just go Google. It's the best free flashcard app out there. I use it for everything. I pretty much just convert all my lecture notes and study notes straight to Anki, and just apart from doing practice questions, the only way I study for exams, and it's worked pretty well. So I want to show you guys some of the features it has, including close deletion and image occlusion, which are super useful despite the fancy names. But before I get into how to actually use Anki, I want to talk about why you should actually take the effort to learn the system. So a lot of people think it's really tedious making flashcards, but once you get into it and some of the really useful shortcuts, it takes no time at all. And in the process of making them, it's a way of revision as well. So in that sense, I revise my notes 3 times before an exam, which is first time I take the notes, and then the process of making the flashcards, I read over it again, and then actually recalling the flashcards itself. So really solid way to learn, really time efficient, and you're investing time to create more time because of the amount of effort and energy you're going to save on instead of reading passively through the notes, you're going to be actively recalling, which is a much better method. So let's get into it. Okay, so to download Anki, just go on Google and then type in Anki, go to their website and go down to the download. So they have it for Windows, Mac, Linux, and as well as for the phones. But for iPhone, it actually isn't free, but for Android, it is. And so just download that and then install it. Another really nice feature that I want to show you is the Anki Web. So Anki Web, pretty much you just need to make an account, and then it will actually allow you to sync up your different devices. So when you make cards on your laptop, you can review it on your phone if you have the app. So I think that's pretty nice. You don't have to open up your laptop every time if you want to review some cards. So once you've opened up Anki, so it should show you the profiles, which you can create for different years. I like to make a new one for every semester. So this is my current one. So you notice that it has a syncing process every time you open it up, and that's to make sure all the cards that I've made is consistent with the one uploaded onto Anki Web. So that allows syncing between devices. And then you'll see that I have a lot of decks here. So a deck, pretty much, I like to make it for each subject. So I have it for public health, neurobiology, things like that. And then under each of the ones, you can actually create subdecks. So the way you create a deck is there's a button down here, so just press create deck and then type in a name. So just one. So that will show up here, and then once you click into that, you can press add to start adding cards. But also you can create subdecks. So create another deck, so 1A, and then drag that under the main deck that you want, and then it'll show up as a subdeck. So this way you can, when you add cards, it goes into this subsection only, and then you can have multiple ones. I like to organize it based on the exams or tests that we have. So for neurobiology, we have a test for lessons 1 to 3, so I like to group my cards that way. So click onto the deck and then now press add to add a new card. So you see on the top, there will be the type. So the type of cards, you got your basic ones, and I believe close, deletion, and image occlusion you have to add as add-ons, which I'll show you in a second. But the basic one is pretty simple. You just add your question on top, and then on the back you want to write your answer. So okay, I've already used that one as an example. That's why it's showing up red. So now once you're done, go down to add. You can also add tags, but this one I don't personally use too much, but if you want to be really organized, you can do that. And one of the tips for tags is that you can't use spacebar. So when you do a space, it comes up with 2 tags. So you notice that it suggested it twice, so that means this one will belong to 2 of the tags. So when you want to do the tag, you want to do ABC, and then instead of a space, do an underline, so like that, and then you can write whatever name you want. So that's that. And you don't have to type it every time, because once you type it once, it'll assume for the rest of the session that's the tag you're going with. So that's that. Okay, so here's how you do add-ons for Anki. So you just Google the code for image occlusion, and then you go to this page. In the download section, you'll see it has a code. So you just copy that, and then go to Tools, Add-ons, Get Add-ons, and then chuck the code in. Okay. So once you complete the add-on, you just need to restart Anki, and then there will be an extra option here when you start adding cards, so the image occlusion will pop up. Okay, so I'll show you when image occlusion really comes in handy. So for example, you want to memorize the different parts of the brain. So this is just some random neurobiology notes. So you copy the picture, so either Ctrl C, or you can use a shortcut I like to do on Windows. So it's Shift, Windows key, and then S. And then so that will allow you to just select whichever part, and that will copy it to your clipboard. So once you get to Anki, you can press this button to open up the image, or you can press Ctrl Shift O. So that'll bring up the picture you copied in your clipboard. And now press Ctrl F to center the image. And then now you can just start drawing these rectangle coverings to cover up the text. So super simple, you just click and drag, just like that. And then once you've covered up the information that you needed, now you go to add these cards. So there's two options. One is called hide all guess one. So what it does is that it hides all of the parts that you've covered and then asks you to recall one of them. So without giving you clues from the other ones. Whereas the hide one guess one will actually show you the other covered up ones and only cover up one of them. So you have a context to guess based on. I like to use the hide all guess one just because sometimes you can get it too easily with process of elimination. So we'll just add that. So you notice it has 4 cards added. So just close that. And now I'll show you what it looks like once you actually go and review them. Alright, here's actually what it looks like when you go and review these image occlusion cards. So the red one is the one you need to guess, and then use recall and then press show answer. It will show you without showing you the other ones because we clicked the hide all guess one. So then it will show you a different one, and then the next one, the next one. So that's that. So image occlusion is also really useful for pathways. So when you need to memorize a certain pathway, but it's presented in the form of an image, and then you guess based on the context of the images. So what you do again, so copy the image, Ctrl C, and then Ctrl Shift O to open it up. And then press Ctrl F to center it. And now you start just covering up the text in between. And then you can resize these as well. But once you click on the resize, you need to click again on the rectangle button to start covering again. With reverse transcriptase. So other information you can cover up like it's a cDNA strand. So again, you press hide all guess one if you want to only show one of them, or hide one guess one if you want to only cover up one of them. So add that, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's what it looks like when you actually start recalling it. So the red one again is the one that you need to guess, and then you notice that the other ones are covered up. So go through them just like that. Okay, so now I'll show you what the close deletion feature does. So you click on the type and then go select close. So what close deletion is really good for are pretty much any information that can be assessed on a multiple choice question. So for example, just simple definitions like cDNA stands for complementary DNA. So you copy paste that into Anki, and then the word, so close deletion only hides one word, right? So we can hide the complementary part. So you can either click on this button here with a bracket, or you can highlight the word, and then the shortcut is Ctrl Shift C. So that is super helpful, makes the process go really quick. So, and then you notice the C1 part. Okay, so whatever's in between the bracket and the 2 dots are your word. So you can modify that to whatever you want. And the C1 means that it will make 1 card out of this. So because you can have multiple close deletions in 1 card. So you can also make another card where it covers up cDNA. So this is useful for when you want to either hide the definition or the word itself. So this will actually create 2 cards, and one of them will hide cDNA and the other one will hide complementary. But if you wanted to hide both at the same time, you change the number to the same thing. And again, you can have multiple numbers in 1 card. So for some reason, if you want to hide A, So like that, so this will actually create two different cards. So the ones with the same numbers will hide simultaneously on one of the cards, and then the one on different value this one will hide by itself on another card, whereas these two will be covered up. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so remember we did C1 for both of these, so that's why it's both hidden. So cDNA stands for complementary DNA. Obviously, that's not very helpful. You want to hide either the definition or the word itself. So, and then on a separate card, you'll notice that it shows the C1s that we've hidden in the first card, but the C2 is hidden in this case, whereas C2 was shown on the previous card. So that's that. So another example involving short answer question style information. So that one, I like to use the basic one. So for example, this one, it's kind of hard to do a image occlusion. You can, but you can try to predict what the exam will ask you. So for example, this one is about difference in initiation between eukaryotes and prokaryotes. So if you write the question, and then in the back, you can start answering it. So something like that, right? And I'll show you what it looks like when you review it. So the basic one, it just shows you the front, and then you have to kind of mumble to yourself what the information is and try to recall in the process. So show answer, and it will show you the back. Another thing is that you can actually include pictures in your answers. So all you have to do is just copy paste the image and then chuck it onto the back. And then it'll show up with this diagram to help you recall better or learn if you have gotten it wrong. Alright, so now that you've learned how to use Anki and the different example situations you can use it in, I want to talk about actually how to set a routine where you consistently review them, because while making them, it is a form of revision, but the most important part is being consistent. Because if you're not consistent, the cards are going to pile up and then you're going to feel overwhelmed, and eventually you're just not going to do it anymore. So the way I like to do it is to set 3 20-minute windows throughout the day. So I'll do once after breakfast, once after lunch, and once after dinner. And that way you don't make it too long so that you don't procrastinate as much. But also reviewing cards, if you're really concentrated, actually takes a lot of energy, in my opinion. So 20 minutes is probably about the right time. You can go for longer if you feel like it, but I think by setting these individual windows, it helps you to stay consistent. And at the end of the day, that's the most important things. I hope that video helped. I might do a follow-up one to show you guys more examples if it's necessary, or some of the pitfalls and mistakes people tend to make when making Anki cards. But that'll be for a different time. So that's it for this video. Laters.